Salam alaikum, say na based na when one. God no be Christian, is not a Muslim. Now where he dey for Torah make we bump ourselves. They come from Shah, they want on with terrorists. Come from Niger, they want on with terrorists. Every day by day, them are bombing our schools, killing our youth. Say we know they happy. No, they Allah is great, you know they keep passing. Boko Haram, them they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep passing. No, they use Allah, what to do, they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep passing. Boko Haram, them they keep people. Allah is great, you know they keep passing. Prophet Muhammad.
Hello. My name is Temitope, and it's a great honor. I have with me Barrister J.K. Adebola is with me. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. And we also have Pastor Samuel Oludare. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. It's a great honor to have you. We also have my sister, Barrister Olivia, but her system is not showing, so I'm just waiting for her to switch on and come back. To us. I had a bit of a technical problem this evening, should I say, because I was trying to put all the system up and the whole thing just collapsed. So I've been trying frantically to try and be able to hear myself. I hope you can hear me. So if you could hear me, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to like this page. I want you to share this page. I want you to tell your friends and neighbors. And I know my viewers, my guests can hear me clearly. I believe so. I believe my guests could hear me. Excellent. Oh God, the system is just giving me all kinds of names and things to do. But thank God I have you here. So let me start with the preambles, and then we'll try and pick up as we go along. You all had the speech of Mr. President, and he had a lot of things to say. He talked about iPod, he talked about the next election, and he gave his views, and that's his views. And it's always good to hear from Mr. President, because as a father of the nation, sometimes when it comes on, he more or less helps to clear the air on a lot of issues, and tropical issues, of course. We know that, for example, bandits have now been branded as terrorists. There are people with different view, have a different view. We know that the election is coming very soon, and the program we had last week, we talked about the fact that things will change. Because the president is really keen to make sure that things change. So let me start with Barrister and say, Barrister, you heard Mr. President, and he spoke to the nation. I know that you will have your views about what he said. What will be your view about what Mr. President said? And then I'll go to Pastor Samuel.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And thank you to our viewers, and thank you for your patience, because we've been off the air for a while now due to sort of circumstances beyond our control. And again, our condolences to you, sir, for your recent loss. We've not been able to talk since then, and so I just want to put that out there, and I pray that God will post our soul and give her eternal rest. Now, after for some reason, the president's interview, I've just been able to view pockets of it because I've been so busy the whole of this week, and I've not been able to really sit down and digest everything. So perhaps maybe if you just let me know which part of it you want my opinion on, so I'll be able to tell whether it's part of the interview that I've been able to watch.
Yes, Mr. President had an interview with Channels TV, where he spoke
Yeah.
about the Biafra issue. He spoke about his secession plan and that he had an idea of who is going to take over from him. He disputed the idea of the economy being in a bad shape. He said, and he said a lot of things, but I just wanted you to give your own summary on what you had and what your perception on the issue, sir.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. So like I said earlier on, I've just been able to watch some pockets as posted on various social media. I've not really had time to really dissect the whole thing, but from what I've seen so far, well, I would say he performed, creditably well. So far so good. I would have loved to be able to watch everything so I can give my own opinion on it. But for the few that I've watched, I think he did well because he was able to. He did well in the sense that don't forget, some people have classed him as brain dead. He doesn't know anything. He's not aware of his surroundings and stuff like that. And with some of the things that I've watched, I think he came out well, and he was able to answer questions directly without. I think he didn't. One of the things that I deduced from some of the things that he said was there wasn't the usual political speak that we've been used to globally from leaders. I guess he more or less faced some of the questions that I had him answer, and he was able to deal with it to the best of his ability. So for him, I say, yeah, I'll give him pass mark for that.
Thank you for your perception of that. Let me go to Pastor Samuel now. Thank you. Happy New Year, sir. And it's great to have you on board. What is your view of Mr. President? Because I know you've at least had Mr. President. You can mute yourself now, sir, and give us your 3 minutes or 5 minutes view of what you had from Mr. President.
Right. Thank you very much, my brother. And Happy New Year once again, and to Barrister and all the people that are watching us. Thank you very much. Well, I watched the interview. I mean, I'll go first part with what Barrister said, that he obviously answered questions that were thrown to him. Of course, there's basically nothing new that the president has said apart from what has always been his views and opinions about Nigeria, about government, about security, about loan from Chinese. I think his direction majorly was trying to say that our government has performed, and that's it. Whether you accept it or you don't accept it, we've performed. That's what I see from the way he came out. Yes, like I said, well, he answered the questions that were thrown to him. The one that has to do with the security, obviously, he spoke about in the past, I think 4 weeks or 6 weeks, that there have been some activities going on. Of course, he accepted that why the government could say that they've scored a certain level of progress in the Northeast, the Northwest. There seems to be other activities coming up there. That's relevant to insecurity and co. And I think also they talk about loans. Well, his position about getting loans from China and co was just like, well, yes, if we need money and China brings it, then that's it. On that, I don't think he was actually looking at the implication, because when you look at some of the report from, let's say, from the finance ministers and the other ones, they kept on telling us that, oh, we are generating revenue, money is coming in. But then we kept borrowing money all over. And Mr. President is just that, yeah, we need to get the infrastructures in. And
if it's China that brings in the money, then that's it. On that, obviously, I would take it that I wonder if he's actually thinking about the implication of these loans. Yes, we need infrastructure, but at what cost? Especially if they say that we're generating revenue and then we're still borrowing at the same time. So, and initially you mentioned quite a lot about agriculture and the effort the government has made, especially on rice. You mentioned that specifically. But then I still look at it that if 6 years into the 8-year term, it's still you can't really talk about we have land, that is where we should focus and go. Then you look at, okay, what has been done for that 6 years. Yes, he mentioned about the rice development or that has happened within the rice sector, but that was the only one he mentioned. So you really want to look at for 6 years, what's, if we know, I mean, just like the president said, like about, I think it's about 2.5% of arable land in Nigeria is what is being used at the moment, so that we really need to focus on agriculture, and which several other governments have spoken about as well. But things have to go beyond just talking that, oh, this is what we need to do, to us actually doing it. And of course, it's the government that is going to lead in that area. So those are the areas that I picked up. Then obviously about IPOB, regarding Kanu to have his day in court and to defend himself. He said he doesn't interfere with the judiciary. Of course, we know, maybe not on Kanu now, but we know definitely many times the government has interfered with the judiciary. So, but he said Kanu should be able to defend himself in court, so he won't get involved. And I think that is basically.
Okay, thank you so much.
Go on, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to go back to Barrister because we had the opportunity of talking about Kanu a lot on this program last year. Barrister prophesied on it that he's enjoying his 12 minutes of fame or something, and that once he gets picked up, he used his mouth, he incriminated himself. If he's put himself in that situation, he should dig himself out. And I'm going to go back to Barrister on that, but let me go to Barrister Olivia, who is joining us. Barrister Olivia, I know you can hear us. If you could unmute yourself, can you? No, Mr. President, don't do video, don't do a lot of interviews with local TV press. So a lot of people are quite pleased that at least he actually did grant that audience. He spoken to Arise before, earlier, so a few months before. He spoken to channels. So hopefully TVC and all the other channels will also have their day, But what is your view, briefly, in 1 minute, of Mr. President's assertions, if you've managed to listen to what other people are saying, or from the diaspora perspective? Do you think Mr. President's assertions were well received in the diaspora community, or do you think otherwise? Please unmute yourself.
Good evening, yes. Mr. Oludo, and good evening, Barrister and Mr. Yoroko. Right, I listened to what the president said, and he has said that he believes that Kanu should be tried in Nigeria, despite the fact that he's got a British passport. I mean, when I heard that, I wasn't happy. Now, I wasn't happy because we understand the dynamics around Nigeria's legal system, that it could easily be tinted in a way that would actually favor whatever it is that the president wants. So from the diaspora's point of view, I believe that it should be tried here. If there's anything that he has done, obviously they said he's made some plans while he was in the UK, and he ought to have been tried there. But Kanu in himself, in his defense, said he believes that the case is going to be thrown away because there is nothing to bring. But we all know that even though there may be nothing to bring, they may actually want to pin him down with some statement that he's made in the past. Thank you.
Bring in a barrister now, because this is something we'll be talking about. Let me say a big thank you to all our viewers. There are people watching us right now in the UK, people watching us all the way in Nigeria and in Calabar, that beautiful city, in South Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching, and please tell us where you're watching us from. But before I bring barrister in, I think, because for those people who might not be Nigerians, who might have, are listening to us talking about, Mr. President saying something and people saying, okay, why is he saying he's not going to intervene? I think it's important to just try and show something that more or less give an explanation.
We have cowards and spineless, lily-livered idiots as governors. They have given over our land to the Janjaweed to occupy in perpetuity. This very generation, this very IPOB will not tolerate it. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. We would rather all perish and die than to allow our land to be taken over by the Janjaweed. It cannot happen. This is a warning to all the governors who are conspiring due to one political consideration or the other to give our land to infidels and blood-sucking demons from the Sahel. It cannot happen, not under our watch. It's not going to happen. Not.
Okay, he said it clearly. Not now, not tomorrow, not never. But as we know, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is cooling off his temper in Abuja detention center. Which one, we don't know. We are not the one responsible for it. But I will call on Barrister to give me his view about Mr. President saying, you know what, I'm not going to intervene. And I think we need to be honest with Mr. President, because here we are very, very clear. When Mr. President gets it wrong, we always make it clear that Mr. President gets it wrong. But Mr. President, I've been seen not to intervene in a lot of things, even when it comes to the House of Representatives, House of Senate issues. He always said, let them have their day in court, because he went to court 4 times to go and fight, or 3 times to go and fight for his mandate. So he's a man that said, I want to be a Democrat. And sometimes people say his extremism for becoming a Democrat is really having major impact. And this issue might, he said there might be a political solution, but this guy has said a lot of things. He's incriminated himself from a legal perspective. Is the president right to say we're not going to intervene? Let them have their day.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I think the president.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. I think Mr. President is right for saying he doesn't want to intervene. Don't forget, this was the man that was accused in 2014 when he was campaigning to become the president that he was not a Democrat. Most people in Nigeria accused him that he was not a Democrat, was a military man, blah, 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 blah. And since he's become the president, time after time after time, he has shown that he is a Democrat to the core. And that is why he's now renowned for not interfering in the judiciary, especially. Because if the president or this government has been intervening in the judicial process in Nigeria, how come that APC lost so many states to the opposition? Jigawa state is one of them in question. So for me, I think the rule of law has to take its course, because we are all living witness of all the atrocities committed by this guy through the incendiary videos he's been making, and the fact that he has his foot soldiers in the southeast. The fact that the southeast is in turmoil today, boils down to his radio and video messages, which he's been sending out to people. And apart from him, we've seen so many of his other followers who has come on the social media, you know, to talk to the effect that they were doing what they are doing, or he says so. I don't care if he's British or if we are not saying because he's British, he shouldn't have been tried in Nigeria, he should be tried in the UK. How come he was, especially in that video that we just showed now, how come he was talking about our land? If he doesn't believe he's in Nigeria, why is he interested in what is going on in Nigeria? So if he by that inference alone, as far as I'm concerned, he is liable to be tried in the country where he's alleged to have committed all those offenses. So for me, I don't believe in sentiments. If it's my brother and he's done this, I will not support him no matter what. Because as far as I'm concerned, the peace and coexistence of the people in Nigeria matters a lot. So I cannot sit back and say, oh, because somebody is my brother and he's a British citizen, he should have been tried in Nigeria. Come on, let's be realistic here. As far as I'm concerned, he's dug his own graves. Just like the Mr. President said, the law is there for him. Let him go there and defend himself. He has every right. That is his fundamental human right. He has to go to court and defend himself. If the court deems him not guilty, fine. That will be the end of the matter. But for us to be saying because he's a British citizen, he should have been tried in Nigeria, for me, it's neither here nor there.
Thank you so much for that. Before I bring in Pastor Samuel, let me try again to present a video which I think, again, Mr. President did speak about this, and some people have criticized Mr. President on this matter. But let me get your views on it.
I mean, he's supposed to be, I mean, our constituency is supposed to be his primary responsibility. How can you tell us you are a veteran, you are occupying a temporary office, and you are telling us you cannot say it? That is an embarrassment. I haven't said that.
For most of our viewers that do not understand what is happening there, let me just explain it. What happened was that it's one of those videos that surface on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, which is to do with the special units from Abuja coming into Lagos, and the governor of Lagos State trying to control the situation and tell the order from above. And that brought up the issue of the police and the creation of state police. Now we have the situation of the creation of the state police. Mr. President has said he's not interested in state policing. And I just want to get your views each. Let me start with Pastor Samuel. What is your view on state policing in Nigeria? And do you agree with Mr. President that we are not ripe enough for state political abuse that might come from the state of that situation or of that structure if created?
Yeah, thank you, sir. The issue about state police, I personally, I've got a concern with state police the way the country is constituted at the moment. We've seen, even with the one we have, we've seen how the police, all this extrajudicial killing, chasing people about, which, I mean, people will say is unlawful, but then they still get away with it. So we wouldn't want to arrest a beast by creating another beast. So to an extent, I will agree with the president that the state police as currently constituted, I mean, as Nigeria is currently constituted, it could be something that might become very dangerous. We see, I mean, things happen in other parts of the country as well, but I mean, we've seen report of what is happening in Imo State. So, and all the things also that we see on social media, we see people that have money, not just only politicians, having control of the police force. So if we have a state police, the way things are now, I'm not too sure that it will be totally productive for us. And that's my personal view.
Let's go to Barrister Olivia and get Barrister Olivia's view before I go to Stadibola. Barrister Olivia, what is your view about state policing in Nigeria? Do you support the call for state policing, or do you agree with Mr. President that it could be used by politicians, to more or less leverage the opposition in their state?
Thank you, Mr. Olodo. I actually agree with the president on that it could be used by the police for their own selfish ends. While it's good to have the state police, let's not forget that we've got 2023 just around the corner. That's next year. And so there are a whole lot of things that are basically not in the balance where the police are concerned. We've got police, we've got the thugs, we've got a lot of people that want to use even the judiciary for their own selfish ends. So I would go with the president on that well, at least for now, until things are stable. And when I mean stable, I'm talking about the coming elections. Once that's stable, then we can actually revisit the issue of the police and the state. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go to Barrister. I know we've talked about state policing on this platform on many occasions, so you are quite familiar with the issue. One of our viewers is saying we actually indeed need state policing, and I'm of the view that state policing can work. What say ye, sir? Because I believe that state policing could work if we put in the proper structure of check and balancing to make sure it works. But what happened with the governor of Lagos State was quite embarrassing. And must not happen when the chief security officer cannot actually control his jurisdiction. And somebody was standing there saying, what? He said, I've spoken to the Inspector General of Police, and I don't know where you guys are coming from. He said, sir, I can't talk to him, but you can talk to him. But we have a directive, and I'm not moving an inch. So what's your view on that, sir?
Thank you very much, sir. Personally, now this is my personal opinion. I would have liked a situation where we will be able to have state police. And my view on this is predicated upon the global view that policing is local. And given the situation in the country today, this would have been an ideal time for us to be able to have state police, which would be able to deal with the insurgency that we're currently facing. But like my other fellow speakers have spoken, the prevalent situation in the country does not give room for that kind of situation, because Nigeria is not an ideal country. We all know that. And given the especially the mindset of the people in power in Nigeria, the way they tend to be the lord of the manor, so to speak, the way they act sometimes creates that fear in my mind that we are not ripe yet for policing. Because if that happens, I mean, I think that was one program where we were talking about this issue here. When I was talking about, I think we're talking about insecurity, and I was talking about how state governors every month they draw from the federal coffers $500 million minimum, $500 million security votes, $500 million security votes, and the only time we see them use it in a way is when election is coming and they want to suppress the opposition. So if they have that kind of mindset, God save us if they have the state police within their authority. So it is with this in mind now, that is making me to say yes, I agree with the president that the country doesn't seem to be ready for state police. But like you said, there's nothing stopping us from working towards having one, and all we need to do is to make sure that we create all the put all the machineries in place, make sure that we get certain checks and balances in place, because it is doable. If there's that political will, it is doable. But then, before we do it, we really need to put some checks and balances in place to make sure. Because if you put state police and there's nobody to police that state police, it's going to be like the pastor said, we'll be creating another beast from one beast. So it is because of this now that I said, for me, I'm agreeing with the president that for now, I don't think we are ready for it there. But that doesn't mean that we cannot work towards it. We can, if the political will is there.
Okay, sir. But let me. One of our viewers have come back and actually said that do we put an end to politics because the politicians are not doing a good job? That's a question that have been put by one of our viewers.
Well, that would be going too wide off the mark, if I may say so, because we're talking about a segment of the society now. We cannot say, because whether we like it or not, democracy is an ongoing process. Even America that we're copying, they're not 100% perfect yet. They too have their own challenges. So in life, there will always be challenges, and you cannot say yes because we have problem with our democracy, then we should throw it away. No, because it's like they say, the worst democracy is better than the best military regime. So we have to bear that in mind. But we're talking about a state police now. So we saw what led to the NSAS. So we mustn't forget. We mustn't forget that we can still manage our democracy one way or the other, because with democracy, if you have somebody who is representing you and is not doing anything, you have two choices. You either recall him, or you wait for his tenure to end and you vote somebody else in. There's a remedy for that. But with the policing, it's a different kettle of fish. So that is why, for me, I don't see that comparison to be fair.
Okay, let me ask. We've all seen what is happening at the moment. I'll go to Barrister Olivia if she's there. She just signaled me. Can you unmute yourself, Barrister Olivia? Excellent. Now, what is okay? You've given us your view on policing, and I know Mr. Joel also is concerned that we could just foreclose an idea. Thank you so much for you've written quite an intensive and giving a good argument for it. And I must say that I also believe that we can put in checks and balances, to ensure that just to deal with the issue of police. Because if, just like a Barrister Adebola said, if we could put in the appropriate check and balancing, we can actually ensure that it works and that we could bring in a lot of resources to help, because Nigeria is bleeding now on issue of security. And I just want to thank all the people that are watching us. I could see somebody watching us all the way from California. I see somebody watching us from Russia. I can see somebody watching us from Dubai. Thank you so much. And my friends from Nigeria, thank you so much. Let's go to the issue of the latest information coming out of Nigeria, that the Attorney General of the Federation has now declared bandits as terrorists. Now, let me tell you my views, because this is my field. I'll tell you my views. It's just my views only, so please forgive me. My view is that it makes us a laughing stock that bandits are being categorized as terrorists, because as far as I'm concerned, there are three elements that are necessary for you to be a terrorist, or for an organization to become a terrorist organization. The first one is that they are committing a criminal act. Of course, bandits are committing a criminal act. The second one, of course, is that they are they are putting fear in a population or in a group of people. Of course, they are doing that. The third one is that they must be driven by ideology. They must be driven by political, religious sentiment, religious motivation. That is the definition of the United Nations, the definition of the United Nations that we adopted and we put into our terrorism act. So when you take these people to court, I'm talking as a lawyer now. When you take them to court and you meet the first requirement and the last requirement, which is that they have religious inclination, then that's my personal opinion. And then how do you proscribe them? I've had something that is very laughable, that when the Attorney General was going to proscribe these people, he gave them an Hausa name that even some Hausa people cannot even pronounce. But the loose translation of the Hausa name is people carrying guns. Now, for people that have listened to me and Barrister Adebola have actually spoken about this, that our legislators are so lazy, because all they had to do was to say anybody carrying weapons and using it to terrorize a community. There's a law for that already. I'm carrying individuals or party. I will say, okay, if you carry a weapon and you are caught with that weapon, 15 years. If you carry a weapon and you adopt somebody, 30 years life imprisonment. If you carry a weapon and you use it to kill somebody, death sentence. If we do that, it's even going to be even more stronger than the Terrorism and the Terrorism Act that only prescribe maybe 15 years. So that is my personal view. And with this, what the Attorney General have done has just make us a lucky stock, because I don't think the UK government put it on their system and say those groups are now prescribed. I don't think so. But I will ask an immigration lawyer that will give me his own view of that. But let me start with Barrister Olivia. Do you believe that, of course, we're not in doubt that the bandits have committed so much atrocity, bordering on the line of terrorism, but their motivation is money, 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 and nothing else? Do you believe that they should be made or should be branded as terrorists?
Yeah.
Let me know your view.
Thank you. In my own opinion, I mean, the word terrorist should not be used lightly. Right, because I mean, here it is, because we live in a global world and we don't want to make a laughing stock of ourselves. I mean, bandits are not terrorists in the sense that it's, to them, it's not about religion, it's about money. Because, I mean, let's look at it, that it's not a particular tribe alone that are bandits. In fact, you've had people in the West, even people from teachers to anybody to mechanics that have kidnapped other people for a ransom. And so it's not about, oh, these are the Northerners that are doing so. It's mainly financial. It's a financial issue. And if someone looks at it, you find out that some of these bandits, kidnappers that have been arrested, they've actually find out that a lot of them, not just only are they financial, some of them are even graduates that have been, that haven't had a job in a long time, and they just went into it. So I believe we should be very, guided in the sort of words that we use, but also for the security to be heightened and working to protect the citizens from these ones, and that bandits are not, they should not look at them from a place of public health. Just like we do here that, okay, maybe they've got mental health issues, they should be dealt with as what it is, bandits. And if what goes to them, just like how do we deal with armed robbers? So we deal with them with the way we would deal with armed robbers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me go to, I want to give Barrister Adebola a good time on this. So, Barrister Samuel, what is your view on this? Because I know you totally disagree with me anyway. Let me know what's your view on this matter.
Well, I think what the AGF is doing is actually diverting our attention away from where it should be. When we look at before banditry became a national word, obviously we know what bandits means, you know, violence, stealing, and co. But the ones that we have that has actually been causing havoc from about 2015 down, we see some of them that have mentioned that they were imported into the country for the purpose of the election. And after the ruling party, unfortunately, they implicated the ruling party, and they said after they've been imported into the country and the election was whatever happened, the Mr. President became president, they were abandoned, and then they went into the bush and took up arms. So those were the bandits. At least we've had people that have spoken with them. A member of the ruling party also has mentioned that yes, this is what we did. So those ones are not, they're not terrorists. However, we have a group that is different from Boko Haram and ISWAP, and which the international community, as far back in 2015, they've put them on the list as the 4th deadliest terrorist group, which operated both in Nigeria and CAF, Central of Africa, and which Mr. President then refused to accept as a terrorist group. So if now because these bandits we're talking about, they are not the one that leaves their base and go to other people's community and sack them and burn their houses and chase people away. Those are not the bandits. So from my own point of view, I believe that the AGF is just trying to shift our focus from where our focus should actually be. So I don't take those bandits as being terrorists. They are not. They've not amounted to that definition.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that that you agree with me on this matter. One of our brothers watching said they are domestic terrorists, and I completely agree with him. In fact, if they've actually created a law for domestic terrorists and then put the definition in there to say what is a domestic terrorist. A domestic terrorist is somebody who is creating fear within the community, within the local community in Nigeria. So distinguishing them from ASWA,
yes,
who might be causing havoc in other countries, or say they're creating domestic fear using weapons, kidnapping, blah, blah, blah. That would have been perfect. So for our listeners and for legislators who are listening to me, please agree with my brother, Mr. Joe, and actually create a law on domestic terrorists, and that will suffice. Actually, saying that, I've got something I wrote down here before I call on Barrister Adebola. I actually did write something down here. Will actually be quite good to read out in terms of the definition. Oh, I have it here. Where did it disappear to? Oh my God. I think I must have dumped it somewhere else. But I actually did write something on the issue. Let me Barrister Adebola, what is your view on this matter? Do you agree that these guys should be called terrorists, or do you agree that they are actually just domestic terrorists? What's your view, sir?
I think my view is talking about whether they should be termed terrorists or not terrorists. Or for me, it's like majoring on minors. In my view, as far as I'm concerned, they become a menace to the society. And like one of our viewers just said they are domestic terrorists. So if we all agree that they are domestic terrorists, so why are we now saying the government shouldn't have called them? I don't care what name they call them. I've said it here so many times. Now, all I care about is getting rid of them, getting rid of this menace from the society. However they do it, I don't care, so long as we don't have to deal with this nonsense anymore. Whether they call them terrorists or ISWAP or whatever it is they call them, to me is immaterial. What matters to me as a person and as a Nigerian is to make sure that the government of today do something about this menace, because whether we like it or not, they become a menace, they become a pest to society. So I don't want to go into semantics of whether they should be called terrorists, they should be called this or that. That's to me is immaterial. What I want to see is for the country to be rid of this nonsense, because they've been allowed to fester for too long. I've said it here before that if by the time the Boko Haram nonsense started in 1999 or whatever it is, if the government at the time had dealt with it, we wouldn't have what we have on hand now. So the issue we have at hand now, and what brought about the naming of these miscreants as terrorists is a child of circumstance. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to major on minor. I don't want to care about what name they are called. All I care about is for the government to deal with the issue at hand and make sure, because what I would like, we have people back home who are daily living under the fear of the possibility of being kidnapped by these idiots. So for me, the name they call them doesn't matter. I'm a lawyer, but I shouldn't be talking like this. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Nigerian first before I become a lawyer. So as far as I'm concerned, I want Nigeria to be rid of this nonsense. So for that, I will take off my hat of a lawyer now and talk as an ordinary Nigerian. Let's deal with the issue. Let's deal with it and get the country free from this crime. End of story. Because whether you like it or not, don't forget, few months ago here, so many Nigerians were accusing this government of not wanting, to call them terrorists. Don't forget, the social media is awash with accusations of this government that the government is shielding them because they are Fulanis, and the president is trying to shield them. He doesn't want to call them terrorists, blah blah blah. Now they've said, okay, they are terrorists. So why are we going on about they shouldn't be called terrorists or what? I don't care what they are called. What I care about is get a country safe. Because I remember those days when I was in Nigeria, I preferred to travel at night because it was safer and it was more enjoyable to travel at night. You dare not travel even during the daytime now. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what name they call them. All I care about is get rid of them, make the country safe again for people to live in peace.
Okay, let me quickly read out something. I believe this will help our viewers listening to me. Article 1.1 of the League of Nations 1937 Convention for the Prevention and Punishment of Terrorism defines act of terrorism as, I quote, criminal act directed against a state or intended or calculated to create a state of terror in the minds of a particular person or group of persons or the general public. The first example is the General Assembly Resolution 49/60, which seeks to criminalize a number of armed activities considered to be terrorist in nature. Act intended terror in the public, in the general public, a group of persons or particular persons for political purposes are in any circumstances unjustifiable, whatever the consideration of a political, philosophical, ideological, racial, ethnic, religious, or any nature that may be provoked to justify them. So in other words, in all those all those things that I've listed now, political, ideological, racial, ethnic, religious, none of them talks about money. And we know that bandits, their only intention is money. So let me play another video, and then we could use this as the premise for our next conversation. Just give me a minute. Let me just see.
Arrested us since Wednesday inside one room like that. We are 5 girls. So some they them with bottle. Some they beat up, some they even choke their the penis, their at night. So they naked us, they beat us, everything. They beat us here in the night. So in the morning, we hope we are going to go back in the morning. Since that time, I've been inside that place. So on Sunday, they are supposed to go home. So they said that there's lockdown. So my transport, how we go. So they said that on Sunday there's lockdown. So I now say, okay, Tuesday I should go home before they cut me inside room. So one their commander tried to rape me this morning. Before he heard the gunshot, he ran away. I was the only one inside the room. They asked me to join them. I said no, I cannot. I cannot kill my fellow human being for nothing.
So can you just narrate a little what the kind of things you've seen and happened?
Yesterday afternoon, they killed man, and this man here, they kidnapped him in the night with one man, one fair man there. So they kidnapped them. So they killed some. That day we came, they showed us on my head that if we tell government anything about this case, that they're going to cut off our head.
So what else did they do there?
They beat us. They even kill human being. Kill them, roast the woman being. I don't know anything. There are plenty. I cannot count. There are plenty. Both girls, both ladies, both kids. Many people. I cannot explain.
Well, they came to our Akigo local government on Saturday night and picked two of the traditional rulers and two other young boys and took us to that place. So unfortunately, one of the traditional, and by God's grace here, I want to thank His Excellency for prompt action and thank the gallant the security operators who came timely to rescue us.
Following the incessant kidnappings we witnessed in Imo State recently, the state governor gave a marching order to security agencies to snapping so that people can come home and enjoy Christmas. So in a rate about 0100 hours this morning, a joint security team comprising the military, the police and the DSS stormed the camp in Oda in Imo State and Lilu community in Abia State. Anambra State. Yeah, and when we got there, the community has been deserted. These boys have taken over the community. They've carved out swaths of land for themselves, and that is a brand of insurgency.
So, you've all had it. You've had their view on issues, and I want to also play this video. Let me
Everybody has disappeared.
So they said it's a form of insurgency because these guys, this is what they were doing in the name of Nnamdi Kanu, or for people they were saying that the president should, more or less intervene. These guys did not exist before Nnamdi Kanu, at least as far as we're concerned. But some hooligans have hijacked his agitation and taken it to the next level, killing. They're not killing Yorubas, they're not killing Hausas. They're actually killing indigenous people from the Igbos that they are killing. So this is what we're saying when you allow criminality to fester, other people will just take advantage of it and use it in a negative way. I want to play more video before I then ask the question I want to ask. Please bear with me. I think this video will be
follow my IFO to continue work with him say you go work with your,
sir.
You work with all the faithful for police?
Yes, sir.
And with the IFO?
Yes, sir. I won't follow police to work, but because I get some target where I go, they give my IFO. Yes, sir. So I want to make my government to give me cooperate, and I will give my government cooperate because I want to follow Nigeria.
You want,
yes,
and you will cooperate
for government because I want to be a better Nigerian man.
You are.
Thank you.
Make a clap for him.
Thank you, sir.
Dayabu is a logistics officer to some of the established bandits operating in the northwestern and north central parts of the country. He works for one of the leader of the bandits called Yellow, and another one called Buderi. His task essentially is to ferry weapons from the sources that supply these weapons to the bandits and then to the bandits on the other side. His arrest have actually exposed the very organized and mercantilistic approach and attitude of these bandits to the crimes they are committing.
Okay, so we've had enough of that showcasing. Barrister, let me go to you first because I just get a bit irritated. You see, the war on bandits is not over. You caught one guy who is involved in logistics, and he says he's their logistic officer. He was never given that job description anyway, but he carries weapons for them. So, if this guy has given you intelligence on how these weapons are being ferried, me with my security mind, I would have said that you should have just released this guy back into the lion's den and actually use him. Now that the guy have actually confessed to you that he's going to cooperate and work with the people, his government to cooperate with him, and he will cooperate with his government. You work with him, know where the source, know the people that is picking the weapon from, so that you could pick those people and pick the other place and know in fact where those people are landing. Instead, you put him on TV and then you are saying that he wants to cooperate with them. Where will he cooperate? He's telling them on live TV, which you record and publish to the world. He knows the areas he wants to go, and those people are going to be waiting for him to come and meet them there. Is this the way policing should be done in modern day? Based on your experience and your skills, sir. Barrister,
I'm not a security expert, but I have always questioned the rationale behind this photo optics that they do all the time with all the suspects. Because I would have thought that any of these guys caught should be interrogated off camera and the information gotten from them used to get to the core of whoever it is that's committing all this. Sometimes it beggars belief because this embar of a guy is a CSP or something like that, or maybe AIG or something, which means he has had so many training in security operations and stuff like that. But me as a layman, just with my little experience in law, I know that you don't do stuff like this and expect to get to the root of the problem. Because the people that he worked for would have seen him now promising the government that he was going to cooperate with them. And you think those guys will now stay idle in their camp and wait for you to come? I don't get who advised these guys anyway. Who? God. Sometimes I just don't want to go on because it gets me emotional when I just look at it and look at the cat. Because for me, sometimes I feel we are wasting a lot of money training these guys who, at the end of the day, turns out to be no better than someone like me who has no idea about security issues. I'm sure you, Mr. Olodo, you are a security expert. I'm sure you probably agree with some of the things that I'm saying here. Even though I'm a novice as far as security issue is concerned. But I know for a fact that what they've just done there is just expose themselves to the bandits or the terrorists. Who does that? I don't get it. I don't. Let's just go to somebody else because I'm just mad
now. Let me quickly go to Barrister Olivia. Let Barrister Olivia say so. Barrister Olivia, you could just remove your unmute yourself and talk. Yeah. Go ahead, man. You need to unmute yourself. Okay, let me go to Pastor Samuel. Why Pastor Olivia is working with our technical issues. You've seen two videos. One from the side showing kind of atrocity that is committed, killing people, roasting their head, eating their skin, eating human beings, and these are boys and girls. Boys and girls. So unemployment is also a part of the problem in Nigeria at the moment, because all these guys are idle. Maybe if we throw them into the war, let them go and actually use those skills in the war front, maybe that would have been much better. Look at what that guy is saying. Said he's happy to support his government. Government should support him. And of course, what he's saying is quite good. But the problem we have now is that he's saying it in the public view. And those people are not going to wait and answer for him to come and pick them. And it just shows you the way our policing is being managed in a modern 21st century. Is this the way policing should be done? Just a quick response from me, then I'll go to Barrister Olivia.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry, I lost you because there was a lot of screeching in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Barrister Olivia. Then.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't hear your question because there was a lot of screeching in the background.
Oh, I was saying that is it right that the police should be doing public interrogation of suspects because they are suspects, they are not yet convicted?
Yes, of course. Yeah, police can do interrogation. Yeah, I mean that's.
But should they be doing it? Should they be doing it in front of the TV? Should they be doing it in front of the TV?
No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. I mean, obviously, these ones should be properly trained to know when to do that sort of interview. No. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be doing it in the presence of that. And if they be doing that actually should be wrong. That should be wrong.
Okay. No problem. Let me quickly go to Pastor Samuel. Pastor Samuel, what's your view on this issue, sir?
Well, I also support my other contributors that it's not the best strategy for the police to be bringing people they've arrested and then bringing them on live TV and then asking questions and stuff and co. I know the police might just be trying to show that yes, we're working, but this strategy is a no-no. Obviously, that gives information to the other members of the group. That makes them to move. And of course, also other accomplices as well. I quickly want to make a reference to even the Auditor General's report. That was released not too long ago, that about 178,000, almost 180,000 firearms were missing from the police. And out of that, almost about 90,000 were actually AK-47s. So, and that's up until December 2018. So the situation, the position here is, if you are talking about gathering intelligence, I mean, things were meant to be done in a manner to, like you said, to plant the person back or track that person back into where they are. But when you bring them out, it's already made all the people, because the guy now, there's a possibility he's not serving only one group. He might be serving several groups. So you've basically given all those groups information that, yes, this person has been caught. There's the possibility that the police will know where they are, so they move. from where they are. So it's not wise at all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me play our last video for this evening. I know most of you have seen this video before. Well, I think it's important to just play it as we look at what is next for us to enter this.
In this country, who have assumed a status that is beyond what they should be. And intelligence from our own sources, the intelligence at my disposal and the disposal of the other intelligence heads, reveals that we have...
I think we better get out of the video. Okay, now here we are now, 20, and I'm going to go straight to Barrister as we're closing down now. Some people have accused Mr. President that his position on the Southeast is because he knows that in terms of voting power, the Southeast does not have a voting power. And even though there is clamor for this presidency to be rotated to the South Southwest seems to be entering into marriage with the North. To disagree with that assumption, or do you believe that every Nigerian has an opportunity to stand for an election, and maybe the Southeast just need to move more, become more proactive, because there are very few people coming out to the Southeast to say we want to stand. But we know, for example, Tinubu, people have already thrown his hat in and said nobody can withstand his power. So what is your view on that, sir?
So my view is that I think for anybody to be accusing the president of about his view and basing it on IPOB issue and basing it on the fact that he got less vote from there, I think it's not fair. And I say this with full authority, with the knowledge that I know that this government has done more for the Southeast than even Jonathan ever did. In terms of infrastructure and everything, the Southeast has benefited from this government a lot. So I think for anybody to now begin to allude to that kind of thing, for me, is completely a no-no for me. It doesn't sit well with me. That's point number one. Point number two is, you see, this sense of entitlement that people in Nigeria seems to be having bothers me a lot. Sense of entitlement in the sense that certain people from the Southeast, I've heard them talk about, it's our turn now, we should be given a chance. Hello? Who gives anybody any chance to be anything? Power has to be fought for. Even Jagaban that we are all talking about here, he has opposition even within Yoruba people himself. Not all Yoruba supports him. So has anybody come out from the Southeast and somebody else in the Nigeria said they have no right to be president? And you see, it leaves a very sour taste in my mouth when I hear people talk like this, as if the Southeast is being marginalized. And the last time I checked, the reason why I don't believe all that talk is this dispensation that we are in now. We've had 4 or 5 different Senate presidents from the Southeast since 1999 and now. So where is this issue of marginalization coming from? Nobody's stopping anybody from being anything in the country. Politics is about you reaching out to other side. We've seen Jagaban doing that since last year. He's been good. He did his curriculum in Kano, which was very strategic. Where are all the Igbo leaders? Where are they? You can't just come here and start telling me it should be zoned to your side, to your side. You have to come into the center and get it. You have to fight. That was why the president said, because it's one of the clips that I heard, I saw, where he said, if you want power, you have to fight for it. You don't just sit on your armchair and be telling people, yeah, you have to give it to us, or else there'll be no peace in the country. You're just living in cuckoo land. Because even Jagaban himself is not sure if he's going to get it or not. All he's doing is reaching out to people, building bridges all over the place, which is what any sensible and self-respecting Nigerians should be doing now that we are getting close to 2023. You don't just sit on your ass and expect somebody. I'm not a Muslim, but I live among the Muslims, and I know that when the Muslims do their Fatiha prayer, they never use their hands to rub somebody else's faces. When they finish their Fatiha, they use it to rub their own face, which is the same thing with politics. If you want power, you go get it. You don't just sit on your armchair and expect somebody to come and give it to you or on a platter of gold. So for anybody to be saying the president is not being fair to the East, I think that is complete bunkum. Because whether the people in the Southeast want to agree to that or not, Google it. Don't just take my word for it. Google it. You'll find out this president has been fairer to the Southeastern than any president ever in this country. Go and Google it and come back and tell me that I'm lying.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to Pastor Samuel. Do you agree with Barrister on this matter, or you are of a person of a different view? Do you think it should be given to the Southeast on a platter of gold, or should they fight for it like everybody else?
Well, I think I will agree with Barrister, because the constitution we have at the moment gives every Nigerian, once you qualify, to fight for the presidency. We know that maybe some of the political parties within them, they could have a sort of rotational arrangement between them. But as far as the general country is concerned, everybody from any part of the country are meant to, or they are if they want. So I think the Southeast should, rather than expecting it, they should actually, I mean, if we look at it even from independence, we saw, even prior to the independence, when they were the regional government and co, I mean, we saw how a party from this side aligned with the other one on the other side in order for them to get more seats or to be in the position of power. So I think that is what the Southwest also should be getting engaged in. I mean, if they get into a party, if they are substantial enough and they can work out something for the party to have a sort of a rotational arrangement, well, it will be good for them. But for the country at large, I don't think it will be fair for them to just expect that. Then they will just say, yes, it's the Southeast that should go. But let's not forget that the 2014 confab recommendation did mention something about rotational presidency, even rotational governorship, and also the governorship around the senatorial district. Is just to, I mean, that conference was just trying to find like a common ground for everybody. But as far as the 1999 Constitution is concerned, which we are operating now, the Southeast has to get off their ass and get into alliance with parties that will push them ahead to get the presidency. So I'm right in tune with Barrister.
Okay, so Barrister Olivia, do you also share the position of Barrister Adebayo that you know what, you have to fight for it, nobody gives it to you, because I know you're also a politician in your own right. Do you believe that they give it even your own?
Yes, certainly.
Political party, do you think they give it to just anybody because they are anointed, or is it that they fight for it?
Well, how would I put this? This issue of fighting for, oh, it's my tribe or it's my tribe, you know, has cost us more. It has actually even taken us down. I mean, I know this same platform, I mean, we spoke about the issue of, should we have succession, or should we not have, you know, should we go our separate ways or not go our separate ways? You know, a whole lot of problems, and people have lost their lives based on that. I believe moving forward, who is efficient, who can do it, whether you are from the north or whether you are from the south, the most important thing, because, I mean, look at it. Let's take the UK, for example. We've got political parties, but political parties, it's not about whether someone is from Scotland or you're from Irish or you're from the North England. It's well, who has a pedigree to be able to be a prime minister. And I think living, of course, I mean, I say this carefully, putting sentiment aside, like just like Barrister said the other time, we've had people come from the Southeast. This is not the first time, that people are going to come from Southeast, and why the force. But we can't, I mean, in issues, we can't take, ethnicity, it's a big problem. I mean, put it that way. We'll talk about insecurity. Ethnicity is a big problem. And considering the fact that we have less than 18 months to 2023, I really cannot say whether it's actually going to work. The most important thing is that put the person that can do the job, and let's get all this sorted out. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we have done a great job on this, and I promise our viewers that by next week we would have definitely have our phones open, and we'll be sending out the notification earlier. We're trying everything in the office now set. The challenge we have now is just getting all the technical bits all done properly. But until then, let me say a special thank you to our viewers, those that are watching. I can see, on LinkedIn, people watching us from New York. I see those that are watching us on YouTube, also those watching us live on Facebook, because the Facebook dropped off along the line, but we'll make sure that it doesn't happen next week. So next time, 5 p.m. on Saturday will be. But until then, my special thanks to Barrister J.K. Adebola. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. A special thank you to my pastor, Pastor Samuel Oludare. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. And special thanks to Barrister Olivia Joseph Aluko. Thank you so much for joining us. She's an author, accomplished human security consultant. Thank you so much, and a big thank you to all our viewers. Please send your message. Let us know where you're watching us from. If you have ideas of the events, the programs that we should be looking at or focusing on, please let us know. I will be more than happy to more or less use or actually look into those videos and at the topics that you want us to look into. But until then, my special thanks to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Please enjoy this video. And
Sahara Productions. Don't they use Allah want to buy the key people? Allah is great, they keep passing. Go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, they keep passing. Don't they use Allah want to buy the key people? Allah is great, they go around them, they keep people. Allah is great, they keep passing. Salam alaikum, alaikum wassalami. Salam alaikum, say na peace that we want. But no be Muslim, it's not a Christian.